We're certainly picking on the big behemoth of the system. But people run the system, and people have not only discretionary powers, but they have biases. They have biases for and they have biases against. We need for people to understand that everybody needs a shot. And yes, it's easy and it's low-hanging fruit to reach for quote-unquote low-risk, nonviolent to quickly help. But we've done that many times over. And the people who were there for the shortest period of time, who started out with a short prison term to begin with, don't tend to also want to be the people who want to transition. I'm certainly not promoting long-term sentences, but what I am saying is the way sentencing happens, the way sentences are given out needs to be looked at, changed. The way that we deal with a person based on one violent or one non-violent criteria piece needs to be changed, because when we lay over that, the fact that everybody gets a shot would change things completely, I believe. And I live my life out loud with that in mind, because I know a lot of guys for which, man, if they had a shot, they'd be right here with us doing this work, and a lot of this would change a lot more quickly than it is. My name is Carl Fields, and we are in the building of the Milwaukee Turners. As a faithful individual, I feel like I've been bucking what God's wanted for me for a long time. And as a street dude, or so, ex-street dude, I mean, I am all of the things that I've been. My first heavy and serious adult scenario led me to having an encounter with the police. It was a violent encounter. I shot at them, they shot back. I mean, it was then exactly what it is we're seeing on the news now. I was there from the year 2000 when they closed the door, and the door didn't open again until 2016. At some point I had to own the fact that, man, I've been in these streets for years now, and this is part of what I do. So if I officially want to do something else and I want to change my own narrative, then I got to choose something that's gonna help me get on a new path, a new way of life. And so lucked up and found my way into some of the classrooms while in prison. And shortly after, I was facilitating courses and became one of 2 tutors for the ReEntry program. We had over 100 guys on our roster. And it was as much about creating a culture inside as it was getting through a prison term. I wanted to come home and live a nice, quiet life and do that thing that the dominant narrative in prison tells you to do, which is come home and be still. As a lot of the fellas would know, I'm gonna come home and get out the way. I had to flip that narrative on his head altogether. Like, no, I need for you to come home and get all in the way. Expo stands for Ex-Incarcerated People Organizing. I'm a community organizer with Expo, and we're all looking to dismantle systemic racism, structural racism in all its forms. I'm also a full-time job of managing Day Shelter in Racine. My title is Director of Community Engagement. It was only, through the grace of a formerly incarcerated individual that I was able to get a job. There was a new director, new ED, new vision was coming about, and he was like, I want to work with this guy that I've heard so much about. And are you willing to come and do this sort of thing? I was like, what, me? What? Sure. And I explained to him that, I can pull this off, I can do this, but this is me working to get my life back as much as it is me helping others. And so, I'll need the same kind of grace and the same kind of opportunities as some of the people that we're gonna see. And he was like, hey, all the more reason for somebody like you to take it. As a trusted messenger, how is it that these different systems aren't allowed for people like myself to do more work in these categories, to help people like myself on the way out? We have a statewide program that is a certified peer support program that fully acknowledges that people who've been there, done that, not only have something to say, but they have a walk to share, and it has value to it. And I also want to do what I said I was gonna do. The judge that gave me an opportunity to come back home early, when I wrote that motion and spoke about what my needs were, I told him that I understood now. I owe my community a lot more than just a prison sentence. I owe them the ability to come home and do something about some of the problems that I helped contribute to, and literally be part of that walking solution. And he agreed. I was, nurtured and supported by a whole lot of people who were never coming home, who were in those kind of categories that if they were home, man, a lot of what we seeing wouldn't be what it is. And so we approach all of this from an all of us and none approach. The system will work well if we had streamlined options to help people out of those scenarios. Prevention is the best way, absolutely. Definitely not taken away from that. But cats like myself, at the moment, we got what we got. So we're trying to make the most of that, not simply the best of it, while we bring prevention and many more community blocks into this conversation.